Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kim the Stash Stitcher, and I haven't actually posted a video for a while because I was away down in Falmouth, and for us it's a 5-hour drive, so it's quite a long journey down, but I wanted to go and visit my brother for his 65th birthday, and I haven't seen him for a very long time, and it was just lovely catching up with him and his girlfriend. And just seeing Falmouth, because Falmouth is so beautiful. The beaches are glorious and the weather was very kind to us. We had some really lovely sunshine, which enabled us to really enjoy our walks along the beach. And it was very hilly, so I struggled a bit with the hills, but it was so nice. So when I got back from Falmouth, my head had been, as it normally is, things going around in my head all the time. Even when I was driving down, my husband and I shared the driving, so when he was driving I was thinking all sewing things all the time. And I carry a little notebook with me, and I make little notes in there, get my thoughts down on paper. So it was a great opportunity to have a think about what I wanted to do going forward. So when I got back, I was full of all these lovely ideas, and I was also greeted by my fabric godmother subscription box, so that was very exciting. So I thought I wanted to share that with you as soon as I could. So I came up into my room, opened the box, went through all the process of showing you the fabric and the pattern and the little free gift you get, and I was going to upload it, but my phone was playing up and I lost the video. I was so upset because I thought, oh, it took me ages, and I think because I'd opened the box and it was the first time I had seen the fabric and the pattern, I thought the surprise element of it had gone. So I had parked that up. I will show you the box. You've probably seen the opening of August's subscription box already, but I will just go through it because I just want to give you my thoughts on the fabric and the pattern that came this month. So this week I thought I would concentrate on making the Maison Fauve Tilda blouse. Now this blouse has been in my list of things to make for a while, and because it was a free pattern, I thought it was a great opportunity to use the free pattern and also some of the smaller lengths of fabric that are in my stash. So that's what I did. So I found some fabrics. I found this lovely gauze fabric in navy, and it's not normally a colour I would go with, because I usually steer clear of really dark colours because I wear black for work. So outside of work I usually like to wear bright, vibrant colours. You can generally see me a mile off when I'm coming because I look like a Christmas tree. I'm just full of colour. I do not normally, well, very rarely wear black. So this was quite a change for me because I am also trying to think about bringing more solid colours into my wardrobe to complement some of those other colourful garments that I have, so that I have more of a cohesive wardrobe that is going to work for me. And I've never made a Maison Fauve pattern before. I do have a few of their patterns in my stash, but this was my first go. It's a really simple blouse. It just has a 2-part back, single piece front, sleeves. I did short sleeves. You do have the option for a long sleeve as well, and on the bottom of the sleeve you have a sleeve band, and then the internal facing. So it's a really easy make. But because the instructions are translated from English to, from French to English, some of the terminology gets lost in the translation. So I do my usual thing. I go through the pattern to make sure that I'm picking the right size and get a general feel of how the pattern comes together. So the instructions themselves come with all these lovely line drawings, really simple to view those. And to be honest with you, if you didn't read any of the pattern and you just followed the line drawings, you could make this blouse up really easily. So when I first look at instructions, I always look at what height the pattern's been drafted for, and also obviously the pattern size that I need to trace off. So the pattern has been drafted for somebody who is 5'4" or 165 centimeters tall. So for me, that's a good 3 inches smaller than what I would normally cut. Now, when I see that, I also go and have a look at Instagram to see who else has made this blouse and how it looks on them. And the few images of this blouse that other people have sewn up, it's got quite a long bodice, so I haven't made any changes to the length at all. So that was great, because I don't really want to make changes if I can help it. Now, the only other thing I found was their sizing is all metric. And I'm not used to working in centimetres, I'm used to working in inches. So I really did have to think about and do proper measurements. So for the bust, because normally I'm a 43-inch bust, so the bust measurement here is converted to 108. So I fell within the 108 and 110 centimetre measurement, and it said that I needed to make up a 48-inch, and that is what I traced off. So I went ahead and traced off that size. So I'm going to go through the pattern, because the pattern is really easy, but there are a few things you need to be aware of that obviously the French do different from the English or British. So first of all, the front pattern traced off. So we have, as the feature, we have 6 tucks down the front. So three of them go in one direction, they're ironed in one direction, and the other 3 are ironed in the other direction, and they all finish at a different distance from the neck. So what I've done to make it a little bit easier for you to see, I've just highlighted the top of those tucks, and at the bottom I also do a little hole punch at the bottom. So when I've got this placed on my fabric, I can either use an erasable marker, or I can tailor's tack into that hole. Now the erasable marker that I used for this top was a white one, and I got these off of Amazon, and they're really good for using on darker fabrics. So literally I just made a mark at the bottom of each of those little holes that I've made, and I made the hole with my little hole punch, also got that off of Amazon, and I made the punches at the top of my pattern with my hole punch here. So all of them are bought off Amazon, and I use them all the time because I trace all of my patterns off, as you know. So those are for the tucks in the front of the blouse, and then we move over to the armhole. Now Maison Fauve are a little bit notch crazy, so they have notches not just for when you're bringing 2 pieces of fabric together, but they also use notches to indicate where gathering starts and finishes. So when I was tracing this off, I wasn't really aware of that until I started looking at more into the instructions of the pattern. But I have marked out on the pattern what they are. So first of all, on the front of this pattern, you have this notch here, which is actually where you start gathering for where the sleeve is gathered, and where it will then meet the armhole here. Now you also have this double notch here. Now normally in the Big 4 patterns or the indie patterns that I have used, there is usually a single notch to indicate the front of the sleeve. But on this French version, there are 2 notches to indicate the front of the, you know, where the front of the sleeve meets the front of the bodice. So that can cut sorry. So that can catch you out, because you have to make sure that you put the sleeve in as the pattern instructions, obviously, because you could end up putting the sleeve in the wrong way round. So that was the front. So the back's just a little bit different, so I put more detail onto the back. So it has a back opening, so I've got my little hole here to indicate the back opening, and I just use my white marker pen on there, and I just clip the top so that I can just find that line really easily. Then we move over to the sleeve, and here you can see that when I came to cut this out, instead of putting a little nick into the fabric, I actually did a tailor's tack. So I've marked there on my pattern tailor's tack, and I just found it less confusing when I brought all the fabric pieces together, because especially with dark fabric like this, you can easily miss a notch, especially when it's gathered. So I've used my tailor's tack here where the gathered sleeve meets the bodice, and here we have a single notch for the back of the bodice, so there'll be a single notch on the sleeve. So it's literally just reversed, but it can catch you off guard, because obviously I'm always used to working the other way around, so just to make you aware of that. So the last pattern piece I will show you with all of these notches is the sleeve. So you can see how busy the sleeve is with all of these various notches. So at the bottom we have our tuck marks here. So there are 4 tucks in the sleeve. So 2 are ironed one way, and the other 2 are ironed the other way. Now I have marked on here, you can see, the measurement of each of those tucks. So those tucks were 3/8 of an inch. So you know that when you fold over that tuck, you are actually stitching at 3/8 of an inch, because obviously you do not want your sleeve to be brought in any smaller than you can help it. And especially for somebody like me, I have bigger arms and I don't really want my sleeves to be tight, so I really need to hit that measurement spot on. So at the top of the sleeve we have all of these notches. So we have the back notch here and the front notch here. So I have put those in, but we also have the gathering area here from this notch to this notch. So I have put tailor's tacks in for that gathering stitch, and also for the top of the sleeve where this will join the shoulder seam. So I've got my usual tack marks, and that's how I'm used to working. I'm used to working with tailor's tacks to fit, you know, to inset my sleeve. So I've just carried on doing that. So the seam allowance on this pattern is 1 centimetre, so that was okay. So there's obviously not a lot of flexibility to make any adjustments within the sleeve, but I just felt that this was this size was going to work for me. I haven't made one of these up before, so I thought I'd just make it up and see what the fit is like. Now when it came to the actual pattern, so when I received the pattern, I got it AO printed. So when I received the pattern actually comes with no sizes on it, so it's all black lines. They're all various styles, but it's all black lines, so you don't actually see straight away what the size is that you need to cut. So what I did was I just literally used a highlighter pen and I went around the size that I was cutting, and also made a note of the size, some of the sizing actually on the pattern, so you need to also be aware of that. And then if I find that I want to make a different size in the future, I would just probably use a different highlighter pen to mark, you know, to mark that size. So I haven't ruined my original pattern at all. So that was straightforward. Just be aware of those front and back notches on your sleeve because that can catch you out. But apart from that, the blouse sewed up really quickly. The pleats are really lovely. It's a very, very effective blouse, and I did all some other various measurements. Like, for instance, I always like to measure across from one side of the sleeve to the other, just to make sure that it fits my arms, because my arms for me are a problem area, so I always make sure I've got plenty of room in my arms. So I'll show you what it looks like on me, and then my thoughts on it as a finished garment and what I will do next time. I'm on tippy toe, so you can see where the blouse finishes. So it's nice and floaty, and it does finish literally I suppose at the widest part of my hip, so there's plenty of room. It's not short at all, and it is very nice to wear in this weather that we're having at the moment, because it's starting to heat up again. And it's got this beautiful, very delicate front detail in the front. So there are 6 tucks at the top, running from the neck down, and they all stop at various lengths. So you have the longer one, middle, and then the shorter one. The neckline itself is sewn onto a facing, so there's a facing underneath, and that sits nice and flat. And we have 4 tucks actually on the sleeves. You have 2 going one way and the other 2 going the other way, and the sleeve is sewn into a sleeve band. And at the back we have a 2-piece back with an opening at the top with a button and a loop. And I've just, this time, I normally put a snap popper in, but this time I did actually put a button and a loop, and it's worked really well with this fabric. Now the only thing I found is I probably made this too big in this instance, because the shoulders actually fall slightly down onto my arm. So I know I will have to make this a smaller size next time, because there's also a lot of excess fabric under here, and it does need to be brought in slightly. But this is such a beautiful combination of the pattern and this fabric. It's really floaty and it's very cool to wear, and I can see myself making a few of these. The sleeve themselves, it just sits nicely above my elbow, so I do quite like the sleeve length, and this pattern comes with a longer sleeve version if you want it. So really happy. And just to finish off, because I always forget, I did put a little label in, and I put a little dinosaur. So I put an image of the dinosaur label so you can see it. So I'm working my way through my labels, and I'm trying to put them on each garment I make. And whenever I put them on, they always make me smile. So that is my Tilda blouse. So moving swiftly onto my Fabric Godmother Dream Wardrobe subscription box. So this is August 25's fabric and pattern, and the little gift that they send you as well. So when I opened the box, I found this beautiful fabric. Now it has been in the wash, I have washed it already. This beautiful fabric, and it is a viscose lawn, and I got 3.7 meters, so quite a lot of fabric. It's beautifully soft, and it's not a colour that I would normally go for, but saying that, I do really like it. I mean, it is just such a pretty fabric, and I quite like, because I've said this before, the reason why I subscribe to the box is because it pushes me out of my comfort zone, and it does introduce me to fabrics I probably wouldn't have picked myself, and also the patterns. Now in July subscription box we got the Juno pattern, where it was a very short like baby doll dress, and I had to add like 10 inches to the length, which wasn't a problem because it turned out a really nice dress, and I did have enough fabric to make it, and I was really happy with how that turned out. So this month the pattern is the matchy matchy ruffle brunch set. Now I know at the moment co-ord sets are really on trend, so everybody's making co-ord sets up, and this is obviously following that trend, and it comes with a tie front with either long pants or short shorts, and there's enough fabric to make basically the top with the tie fronts and the shorts. And I'm not really a shorts person, but you could, if you wanted, make this up as a lounge set or a pair of pajamas. Now I would probably wear the shorts in bed, but I think with all of the excess fabric in the sleeves and the tie fronts, there's too much fabric there for me, especially with somebody who is menopausal, and I try not to have too much fabric on my body when I'm in bed. So I don't think I definitely wouldn't wear it in bed, but I could see myself lounging around in it. And I do feel quite keen to have a go, but the front of it is open basically, so even though the two fronts come together, they're brought together with the ties, there is still a gap down the middle. Now I can't have a gap because I would feel quite uncomfortable showing any part of that body bit, so I would have to put in a modesty panel, and that also means extra fabric. So I'm not too sure about this pattern at all, but I did say to my daughter, you know, she would probably wear something like this quite easily, because obviously she is, you know, so much younger, and I think this is more a younger person's set. Now I'm not ancient, but it's not something I would normally go for, so I'm still a little bit undecided of whether to make it up or not, or whether to just go for it, because generally I find if I make something up, it always feels better as a moving garment than it does as a flat, you know, 2D drawing on a piece of paper. So, and I also really want to use that fabric, and I'm thinking if I don't use it on this co-ord set, I might make a dress with it. So my mind is still working on that, so I will see how I will keep you updated on my thoughts on that. And the other thing that came in the box was this lovely thread pegs gift, and this ironically came from a lady who made these all up for Fabric Godmother, who was based in Falmouth. So I thought that was quite fun actually, that I'd just come back from Falmouth and I was greeted with this when I came home. So that will come in really useful, because I like the idea of having something like this by my sewing machine, because I'm always putting my reels of thread down and they're always rolling all over the place. So if I'm using more than one thread at a time with my sewing machine, it's got somewhere where I can house them and they're not going to roll off. So happy with that. So I'm going to make a decision after I've received my 3rd subscription box whether I'm going to carry on with it or not, because I have realised that it must be very hard for Fabric Godmother to actually pick a pattern that is going to suit everybody's body shape, preferred style, and trying to hit that sweet spot each time. And the last two, with the Juno dress and this one, I just feel that I probably wouldn't have picked these patterns themselves, but you can see I'm not 100% sure whether it's something I'm going to carry on with, so I'm just going to wait for my 3rd one to come and then I'll make a decision. So that is basically what I have been up to this week. I did find that when I came back from Falmouth, even though I'd been thinking a lot about sewing, I really could not get my sewing groove back. So my sojo went for a little while. So what I did do is I spent a lot of time working my way through all of my sewing patterns and doing a little bit of a de-stash and really looking at the things that I gravitate towards and whether I want to keep that pattern or not. So trying to shrink it down. So I'm going to do a video on that so you can see where I got in my sewing journey and how I've got to this stage of picking my patterns. And I'm waffling now, so I'm going to stop. So hopefully you have enjoyed the content of this video, and if you have, it'd be lovely if you give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, it would also be lovely for you to subscribe as well. So until next time, I will see you all very soon. Take care. Bye.